Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. my channel. If you've been here before, you know the drill. If you've not been here before, pull up a seat, sit down, and welcome this precious in as we discuss in this very short, non-spoiler section review of The Wizard Lord by Lawrence Watt Evans. I'm Leanne. I didn't say that already. I'm kind of being attacked by my cat. I dared pet my cat. All I did was try to pet you. This is part of a series called The Novels of the Chosen One. There's 3 books in the series. What made me read this book? Well, a friend's mother gave me this book, and the back sounded interesting. And at the time, I was trying to get into other things besides romance. What I was reading. On guard. This is what I like here. Alright, he's lost interest for a second. So, the back of the blurb. The entire world is kept in a delicate balance under the supervision of the Wizard Lord. It is his duty to govern lightly and protect his domain. But if he strays from the way of the just, then it is up to the Chosen to intercede. The Chosen are the leader, the seer, the swordsman, the beauty, the thief, the scholar, the archer, and the speaker. Magically infused mortal individuals who, for the term of their service, have only one function: to be available to remove an errant wizard lord, whether by persuasion or execution. Breaker, a young man of the vision, has just taken the mantle of swordsman from his former bearer. Never did he think that he would be called to duty so quickly, or that the balance of power that existed in his world would be so precarious. He had a duty to perform, and a world to save. But why did he still have doubts, not just about himself, but about the entire balance of power? Question mark. I consider this to be high fantasy. I don't know about the rest of you, but it says it's published by Tor Fantasy, so I'm going to consider this high fantasy for the genre and what it is. And for a story about preventing Wizard Lord from wreaking havoc upon the world, controlling everything, and being one of the chosen. It's really a quick book about the world building more than anything. It's got more world building in it than it does anything else. I mean, there's adventure, there's the fighting and survival and everything, but it's more about the world building of what the overall world has. Like, I mean, you go to different towns in different areas that have different requirements by the Leer, which is the magic of the area that require you to do certain things. Like one whole entire village requires the priestess to be naked. So, yes, that's what it's built for, to learn the world more than anything in this first book. So, the second book should hopefully have more substance to it, especially as Breaker is still a young swordsman that within his first year he has to go do his duty as a chosen. So, did this live up to my expectations? It was a good read. I did read it before and I had forgotten, but yes, it's a good read. It's interesting. To me, at least. So if you like fantasy and you want to get into it, but you don't want to read something as daunting as Robin Hobb's Eldritch, or even The Wheel of Time, or anything else that would be considered high fantasy, but you want to still get into high fantasy, this is a very short 3-book series that's high fantasy, so it can be an introduction of sorts into what high fantasy is really all about. Should you go and read this story/series? Yeah. If you like old school fantasy, something bad is happening. The heroes must journey. Their journey is full of perils. They make it to the end. They do their job. But all is not well as it seems. Find out in the next book why that is. Alright. That is old school fantasy. So if you like it, read it. If not, I mean, you don't have to. It's just a recommendation. You see the suave right here? What is with this? I did not do this intentionally. And I feel like I need to puff it up more. Puff it up more. Puff it up more. Look at my suave. Oh my god. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm a little crazy, okay? If you haven't realized that yet, that's me. I'm crazy. I mean, like, I'm wearing a hair Arnold, Helga, Arnold and Helga. Because that's just the kind of person I am. And I remember wearing a Naruto sweatshirt. But yeah, that's me. But yes, if that's the type of stuff you like, I'd go ahead and read it. Okay. So if you think I deserve a like, comment, and your lovely subscription after you watch this very small, non-spoiler review, then you can go ahead and do so down below. And then leave if that's your preference. If you want to stay to learn more about it and be spoiled up the wazoo, go ahead. You'll be spoiled. Because there's just no way around it. There are a lot of people in this story, but none of them are very significant in it at all. You have a select few that are. So I'm going to speak of the select few that are. And no, they're not going to have no names besides one of them. Because their names are ridiculously stupid. Because they have like a pavilion's names. Like, let me just give you one. This is actually the new swordsman, Breaker. We're going to talk about him, but here is some of his name. Some of his name, okay? This isn't all of his name. It is just literally some of it. His name is Erin Zal Kuyo Kam Darig Zivi Irin Si Abek Du Ho Were Sash Dunba Dil Za Rivda. Okay? That's just some of his name. And that's all they give you in here, but that's literally how their names are. Like, their names are based on who they are, so of course their names, like 100 names in, changes because who they are as a person changes. But the first couple ones are the same. So there are 8 chosen in this series, in this book. And like it says, you have the leader, the seer, the swordsman, the beauty, the thief, the scholar, the archer, and the speaker. Each one is slightly different from the others. So you have, in this, I'm going to start off with the thief. This thief is a woman who, when she was 17 years old, became a thief thinking it would be the greatest thing in the world. And it turns out that it's not, because she has to steal something every single day. And later on, she realizes that it's a curse to her because she's not really stealing things, but, you know, as a thief. She has to. So because she has a talisman, she has to steal something every single day. She doesn't want to be the thief, so she hides her talisman, and she falls in love with a man after moving out of her hometown because everybody there didn't like her anymore because she was a thief, and she didn't think it was an honorable thing. So she and her husband, they got married. They had 2 kids. Now, she didn't want anything to do with it. She didn't want to do nothing about being a thief. She didn't want to do nothing about being part of the Chosen. She didn't want to do nothing about entering the Wither Lord. She wanted to be at home with her children and her husband, and that was it. So when they came knocking for her the first time around, she said no, and they left quietly. The second time they came around, they had to actually save the family because the Wither Lord didn't want them to going after him. Sat there and put the house on fire, was flooding their home, and broke a little girl's arm. Like, seriously, you don't want to be considered evil, but you're going to light somebody's house on fire? That's kind of evil, dude. I hate to break it to you, but that's a little evil. So, she still says no, she can't go, but that's because her daughter has a broken arm now. She has a baby, she has her husband, but she does want the Wizard Lord killed because it's his fault her daughter has a broken arm. It's his fault that her house went up in flames. I mean, yes, they're able to save it and get rid of the patchwork of what was on fire by putting it out, but still, It's like, no, I want him gone, but I can't do it myself. Sorry. Then you have the seer. She's an old woman who's been the seer for a very long time. Okay? And she's like, I can see where he is. I can see when he's talking to me, to us, spying on us, and he can see where we are, and he can spy on us too. So I know all this stuff, and I'm gonna watch out for it. And she's like leading them up until they get to the tower. She's like all confident and everything like that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And then when she gets to the tower, she looks at it and goes, I can't go in there. That place is terrible. I'm not going in there. I'm not setting foot in there. I'm too scared to go in. Nope. Even though she would be able to lead them to the exact spot of where he was, the Wizard Lord. So, yeah, she's going to be removed. And so isn't the thief, because they don't deserve it anymore. Because, like, if you can't do your job, then what's the point of being one of the chosen? And then you have the leader. I want to strangle the leader. Okay. The leader found out that the Wizard Lord was evil, struck a deal with the Wizard Lord to get riches, to get a good home, become a powerful person. And he wanted to rule with the Wizard Lord over all of Markham. And that's just terrible. Okay, that's a terrible thing for you to do. Your job is to slay him if he becomes evil, not make a deal with him. And slaying people just because they are picking on you as a child, it's not the way to go. It's not at all the way to go. And so Breaker finds this out about him and says, okay, you have to give up your leadership. You have to give up being leader. You have to get rid of it. You have a year, and if you do not get rid of it within a year, I will come and kill you personally myself so somebody else can become the leader. Because you're not a leader. You are a con artist. You are a betrayer. You are unworthy. Because he's the one who made plans with the Wizard Lord to trap and prison all of the other chosen, so the two of them to rule the world together. No. Okay, so the archer was actually, he's called Bow in this, or is it Arrow? I don't know, one of them. He wants to sit there and be the one to kill the Wizard Lord, because he's all about, yeah, let's put the Wizard Lord in his place. Yeah, let's do it. I'm all for it. He's like all up in it, and he wants to do it, and he's like, yeah, let's go. And he doesn't even care. Like, you guys are gathering, I don't care why you think he needs to be gotten rid of. Let's just go get rid of him, because obviously he's evil if we're gathering. So he's all for it, and he's actually a little sour at the end that he didn't get to do it. But that's just the way it is, because he's like, I want to take it, because there's not been very many people besides the swordsman that's had up with killing all of the evil Wizard Lords. I want to be one of the ones that kill the Dark Wizard Lord. Okay, I want to do it. I want the archers to have glory. The beauty sees hers as a curse as well. Because not only would she have women being jealous of her, and some of them even falling in love with her, wanting to be with her, it's men who want to taste tail with her, and want to sleep with her, and she doesn't want none of that. So she actually sheltered herself away as a host person within this town called Winterhelm, where up above on this cliff were these wild people who would come down during the winter, because the winter is really harsh, and live down below, and they would cover themselves up head to toe, where the only thing you could see were the eyes. To protect women, of course, obviously, because these guys are wild, barbarian-like people who will be like, yeah, let me do this. I want to be with a woman. I don't care if she's married or not, or if she says no or not. I'm going to be with this woman. and go nutsos because they have nothing else to do besides drink, eat, and lay with women. So she hides there to protect herself and keep herself from being assaulted. And she goes along with it, thinking that she might be needed. Of course, she doesn't trust no man at all, and she doesn't really trust women either, so she's just trying to protect herself. And yes, Wizard Lord can be a girl. If it's a wizard that's chosen to be the Wizard Lord, is a female. So, that's that. Let's see, who else? Oh, she gets to keep her position, and so doesn't the archer. Then you have the speaker, who can hear everything. All the leer around her, all the animal leers, all of the peoples. She knows everything about everything when they're nearby. So she can speak a person's true name and either take control of them or release them from a spell. She knows their true name because it's whispered to her all the time. And she may act like she's an old crazy person, but she knows what she's doing very well. And she goes and she's ready to do things. And she wants to go into this tower too to stop the Wizard Lord because she knows that she's the only one that could release spells if the Wizard Lord uses spells to battle against them. Of course, she gets shot in the leg and therefore is unable to go in, but she was all for it. Then the Scholar. The Scholar needs to learn one true thing a day. Doesn't matter what it is, it's just gotta be one thing new. It's gotta be true, and he's gotta learn it. And he doesn't remember anything that's a lie. You will tell him a lie, he won't remember. And that's how they found out, the Seer and the Scholar did, that the Wizard Lord did go evil. Because the Seer, who heard it from the boss, was the leader, that the Wizard Lord had slain 5 rogue wizards. And that's what she felt him doing, because she felt him slaying some people in the agony of death happening. And she told the Scholar. Then 5 years later, they get together and they're just discussing things and they're talking, and she brings up, the 5 rogues. And he's like, I don't remember none of that. They're like, oh, he didn't kill rogues? Then what did he kill? He didn't kill rogues. And the Seer knew that Breaker was coming to talk to them. So, Breaker is a new swordsman who took it over from the old swordsman, which almost didn't happen if not for the Wizard Lord. The Wizard Lord interrupted, said something, threw the old swordsman off, and allowed Breaker to wound the old swordsman and to become the new swordsman. And the Wizard Lord did that because he knew that the old swordsman was suspicious of the Wizard Lord and that the Wizard Lord was not a good person. So, when Breaker became the new one, he decided to set out to meet all of the Chosen, so that way he could meet them and talk about the Wizard Lord. And he realized throughout his travels that he didn't hear positive nor negative information about the Wizard Lord. It was all, oh yeah, good weather we've had here with the Wizard Lord. And that was it. That's all he heard about the Wizard Lord. And he was very curious about that. Like, why isn't there anything else said about the Wizard Lord, good or bad? And so, when he meets up with the Seer and the Speaker, Seer and the Scholar, they decide to go to Stone Slope, which is where the Wizard Lord used to live, to learn more about the Wizard Lord. And that's when they found out that the Wizard Lord slaughtered the entire village of Stone Slope, all because people used to pick on him. Women, men, children, even a newborn baby just offed him for it. And so they're like, okay, he definitely needs to go, because if he can do this once, he can do this again. Even though the Wizard Lord swears up and down, I will never do this again. This was the only time I did it, and I will never do it again. But when they get to his tower, they realize that it's a creepy old thing. It's not grand. It's not powerful looking. It's not beautiful looking. It ain't well kept. It's a dingy, decrepit, almost falling apart place that's got spider webs everywhere. And he controls the maidens with fear. So, yeah. Definitely deserved to die. Yes, he did die. Yes, Breaker did do it. You want to know how he did it? You'd have to read to find out. You want to know how Breaker learned that the leader was betrayal? You'd have to read to find out, because I'm not telling you that stuff. I've told you enough about it. We're moving on to my favorite character was Breaker, because at first went with the flow. You know, he went with the flow. We were sailing, going along. I'm just gonna go around and meet all these people and just go along. And then he just goes along with all the stuff, going like, okay, well, the leader's supposed to be leading us. Let's get the leader. Get the leader. Okay, the leader's supposed to be making up plans. Well, we're gonna wait. But I don't really understand why he's not letting us make plans now for when we get there. But he's supposed to be the leader, so I'm gonna listen to what the leader said. So that's what they do. Listen to the leader. Listen to the leader. And then when the Breaker gets there, they're like, okay, you got a plan? He's like, yes, let's just charge in there. And he's like, that's not the wisest decision, and he's thinking in his head. And then he realizes that he can't be doing that. So, without meaning to, he takes control. And he becomes like the leader of those that he's around. And he directs them and guides them correctly, including, the leader saying, hey, look, okay, I know you betrayed everybody. You're going to tell the wizards that you want to quit. Oh, and the new Wizard Lord is, all I know about him is he's called the Red Wizard. Because that's what Breaker called him when he first met him, the Red Wizard. And one of the Red Wizards actually witnessed the fight between him and the old swordsman. So that's how he knew him. But that was it. That's all there is to it. My most disliked character was the leader. His betrayal of the Chosen. Like, Breaker was hearing them talk in the night, but he didn't realize it as he was falling asleep. But yes, the leader was luring them into a trap, while all the time trying to persuade them to go away. Stop. That this wasn't true. And the guy's all wishy-washy. Of course, the reason why he's all wishy-washy is because he's got a deal with the Wizard Lord, and he wants to keep that deal because he likes being rich, and he likes being powerful, and he likes having a glorious palace and millions of servants, and not having to worry about anything. And when he found out, through the Wizard Lord, that they were coming for the leader, he went to Winterhome to try to head out Beauty and convince Beauty not to join them. Of course, he didn't make it, but that's besides the point. And he was really glad the thief didn't join, and he wasn't being leaderish at all. He was being so terrible at it. Like, dude, I just want to strangle you for being so terrible at being a leader. You are terrible. Terrible. Okay. So, my favorite passage from the story is, the Sixth Chosen had suddenly become the cooperating team Breaker had always thought they should be, but now Breaker was not sure whether he was entirely pleased with that. Yes, it was good to have a leader who could actually lead. Good to have everything fall in place, but this assumption of authority seemed a bit sudden. Like when leader first stepped in, he just assumed authority. We're gonna go do this! All the while saying, no, he's probably never gonna do it again. Let's just leave him alone. Oh yes, we need to kill him. Oh, the thief has to come with us. Oh, the thief doesn't have to come with us. Oh, let's all up in arms. It's like, you're so wishy-washy. Wishy-washy. My favorite quote, someone has to do it, he said. It might as well be me. So that's Breaker when people ask him, why did you agree to become the swordsman? Well, the old swordsman came into my town asking for someone to become the swordsman, and he said, well, somebody had to do it. The real question is not answered yet, because even Breaker doesn't really understand why he chose that time, but he knew, before he even met the swordsman, that his life was dulling to him in his town. Like, everything was becoming less pleasurable and less satisfaction and less settlement. Like, he couldn't settle down, and he just didn't understand why. There was something shifting in the air, and he didn't feel like the rest of his family, the rest of his town village did. Happy and joyful and celebrating and all that stuff. And he was just like, something making me long for out there. I don't understand what. And so he decides to become the new swordsman. And it gives him an opportunity to be more and to see the world and be more satisfied. And he does end up feeling a little satisfied about it, you know? Just a little. What I thought about the ending of the book. There is something more going on within the world, because if the wizards are only a few, because there's like 19 of them altogether that exist, what is making the wizards disappear? What is making them less and less? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Who will become the leader? Who will become the thief? Who will become the seer? And what will Breaker do? Now that he is already slain one wizard lord, what is he going to do now? Just live at home? Or is he going to travel? What book did it remind me of? Robin Hobb's Assassin's Apprentice? But less in depth about a boy becoming a man. Because that's what Assassin's Apprentice, the Farseer trilogy, the Tawny Man trilogy, and the last trilogy that she wrote. It has to do with it's all a story about his life's journey. But this is not just Breaker's life story, because you don't get the beginnings of his life. You just get him at like 17, 18 years old. This book is part of a series called The Annals of the Chosen. The Annals of the Chosen. The next book, there's 3 books in the series. The next book is called The Ninth Talisman, which I will post later. I rate this 3 because it's more of a follow a leader, but who is the leader type of story. Because Breaker is like the leader, sort of, in it all at first, and then it was the seer and the scholar leading, and then the leader leading, and then Breaker back being the leader. So, follow the leader type of thing. It could have been better, because squirrels attacking is okay. I mean, there were some wolves and some deer and some trees and lightning, but really it was just a bunch of rain. I'm trudging in rain for days. And there was a lord, of course, killing people to prevent them from helping the chosen. You know, that whole thing. It's just, there could have been more substance. But then again, it's old fantasy. They would probably be different. Alrighty, that's me blabbing enough. So if I haven't convinced you to read the book, figure out what the hell I'm actually talking about. I mean, like, attack of squirrels? Do you want to find out? Do you? Do you want to find out? Anyways, if you think this is ever like, comment, or even your lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.